cracking, people? This is Critical Mess. This is episode 29, my lucky number. It's the podcast where three cracking good fellows who work in the ad business rap about movies that critics and audiences do not agree on. I am Nick Honeywell. I'm here with Gris Griswold and Brian McCullough. Producer Ben is in the house. Say what's up, guys.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, it's Brian McCullough. I'm excited to talk about Benjamin Gates and The Last Crusade tonight.
Ooh, I like that. I like that alternate title. All right, we got an icebreaker tonight. We didn't talk about the icebreaker and cheat like we usually do, so hope you guys are ready.
Good luck, Gris.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll make it easy for you guys, don't worry. I figured, right, it's an election year, right, guys? And the presidential election is, it's heating up, and, we don't talk politics on this show unless we want to talk about politics, but we don't want to talk about politics. So in the spirit, though, of the election year, would like to just ask you guys, who would do a real kick-ass job of playing the U.S. president in a movie that has not done it before? Like, who would you like to see in the Hollywood Oval Office? And I'm happy to start if you guys need a moment.
Yeah, give me a moment.
Yeah, so I would love to say Terry Crews, because I think he would be an awesome president. But Idiocracy, unfortunately, takes that from me. So I'm actually going to go with. I've got two answers. I think Hugh Jackman would be an awesome president. I know he's not American, but that's okay. I think he could play an American president really well. Kind of, he can do kind of the stern, serious guy, but also have a little fun with it. I also think, from a female perspective, I think Julianne Moore could be a really good president. I think she's, she's smart. She, I think she can play a power role. So yeah, I think either of those two would be fun in that role. What do you guys think?
That's funny because I was going to say Julia Louis-Dreyfus was my answer, and I know obviously Veep, there's ties there, but I just watched her in You Hurt My Feelings, and I would watch her be anything, including president, and I think she'd do a damn good job.
I got to go with Bryan Cranston. Has he ever been president in a movie? I feel like he would do really well.
I think so.
With that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I would love it. But
yeah, he could be kind of a gritty, I'm
going a little bit darker, more serious with the presidential role, but
yeah. Anyways, sorry, just random icebreaker tonight, but I wanted to do one that there were no wrong answers to. So anyway, we'll keep it moving here. So we spoil movies on this fine podcast that we do here, Critical Mass. And I'd also recommend, if you're listening, watch the movie before you take this lovely journey here with us, because it'll just make your ride a little bit more fun. Or don't watch the movie, don't listen to me. But tonight we are talking about a movie that is from the year of our Lord 2004. That movie is National Treasure, the first National Treasure.
You're treasure hunters, aren't you?
We're more like treasure protectors.
All his life, Benjamin Gates has searched for a treasure no one believed existed.
Don't you get it, Ben? The treasure is a myth.
Dad, I refuse to believe that.
But what he thought was the final clue
108 years of searching and I'm 3 feet away.
is only the beginning.
The Declaration of Independence.
You think there is a treasure map on the back of the Declaration of Independence?
The map is invisible.
Why would we make this up?
Where's your proof?
We don't have it.
Riley, get down!
National Treasure.
This movie was, I think as we all know, it was a pretty big hit. I mean, there have been sequels, and that's for a reason, because this is a franchise that's made money. So this thing cost about $100 million to make in 2004, which pretty serious budget, and you can see why when you watch this movie. This looks like an expensive movie, but it raked in $350. So it's paying the bills. So you can see why they made the sequels. Anyways, this one is directed by Jon Turteltaub. He's got a few movies under his belt that you may be familiar with. He directed Cool Runnings, great movie. He directed Three Ninjas. He directed Three Ninjas when he was in his 20s, which is kind of badass. He directed Phenomenon, if you guys remember that one.
John Travolta.
with John Travolta. Yeah,
What?
that's a good one.
And then more recently, he directed The Meg.
Oh,
Yes.
Wow.
Mr.
Dang.
Did he direct Meg 2?
is he the most
I
varied?
don't know if he did 2.
That doesn't seem like the franchise would have the same director back to back.
Is he the most non-pigeonholed director I've ever heard of?
Yeah, he's got some spread on his range.
Although maybe all those are geared towards teenage boys.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Never mind.
Anyway. So National Treasure, this movie was written by everyone. There are many writing credits on this movie, and I'm not going to rattle them all off. But in terms of who it's starring, well, of course, we've got the one, the only, the great Nicolas Cage. We've got Dianne Kruger, Hervey Keitel, Jon Voight, Sean Bean, Christopher Plummer, a few others. Pretty stacked.
Cast is unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty stacked. So,
R.I.P. guy who played old Benjamin Franklin. I think he just died today or yesterday. I think
in the opening scenes.
Yeah, they just showed him in the prologue. He's like in the carriage. He's like the old Benjamin Franklin. It was like yesterday, maybe.
Oh, dang!
Couldn't remember his name for us.
Nice.
He was in The Jerk.
Old BF.
He looked
was
very
in Home
aged
Improvement.
He looked very aged in this film.
Yeah, I don't know his name. He's that guy. Anyway,
What guy?
Well, he's just a dude. Just forget I brought it up. You were talking about the cast, and he just died.
Yeah.
Emmett Walsh.
Emmett Walsh died at 88. R.I.P.
Thank you,
guy.
Ben. Yes, R.I.P.
Producing.
Yeah, I'm not the fucking producer.
Well, you brought
Coming
it
with
in.
hot facts,
I
you better have the
figured
numbers with
we would
you.
have at least known his name. It's okay, but we've got his name. Everything is good in
Thanks.
the world. Yes, thank you, Ben, for being our thorough research department. So, guys, a quick refresher about the criteria for the movies we talk about here. So, got to be fresh with audiences and rotten with critics on Rotten Tomatoes or vice versa. And the disparity's got to be like about 20% or so. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, National Treasure, not really... critics didn't like it too much, 46%, and a pretty respectable 76% with audiences. So let's see, carry the two. I think that's a 30% disparity, right?
And yeah, it's exactly right. And a five,
I think I nailed it.
A 5.3 out of 10 for critics, 7.6 out of 10 for audience.
Okay, so that kind of carries through. So let's get into this, guys. I have a feeling this week wasn't the first time y'all had seen this movie, but let's talk about it. When was the first time we saw it? How many times have we seen it?
Way back in 2004, right? So this would have been high school days. Definitely saw it in theaters, and I've seen it countless times since. So
I had just started becoming disillusioned with the big blockbuster right around this time as a 22-year-old. I had just been let down.
It missed you guys by a few,
like a few too many blockbusters, and I had just started my disillusionment process. And when this came out, it was like 1.5 years too late for me, so I did not watch it. And maybe watched it like, I don't know, mid-2010s for the first time, and then again this week.
Isn't that weird how that gap, that small amount of time? Because I was probably a sophomore in high school, and it was a hot movie for a lot of 8th, 9th, 10th graders. So
it's funny how your tastes just pivot so quickly in life sometimes,
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, you guys might be surprised to hear that I have never seen this movie all the way through until last night.
I am surprised.
Yeah, now I had certainly seen some of it because it was on TV a fair bit. So I had seen some key scenes. I had seen the stealing of the Declaration of Independence scene before, and probably a little bit more of it. But yeah, never sat down and actually watched this all the way through. And actually, this is one of those movies that like has been on my list for a long, long time to like sit down and watch all the way through. Like I have considered renting this movie like 10 times in the last 10 years and just never pulled the trigger because there was something else I wanted to watch slightly more. So I'm really glad we're doing this movie.
I feel like this would have been one of the answers to your icebreaker of like, what's a dad folding laundry movie? It's kind of a movie like this.
Oh, absolutely.
And real quick, guys, I know we're going to get into this, but I just right off the top, we have to talk about Nick Cage just briefly. He's an institution, okay? Everyone knows him. He's a diamond. You can look at him in so many facets. You know what I mean? What are just give me a real quick blurb on your relationship with Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Face Off.
Yep. Con Air.
Jesus, The Rock.
Tell me what you think of him.
I typically enjoy Nick Cage movies both ironically and sincerely.
Okay, and that's kind of why I'm surprised why you haven't seen this. That was why I was.
Yeah, it was a major gap,
okay.
like a huge gap.
I mean, is this that time frame where he started to take that turn downward? And I feel like a lot of his movies came just right before this.
I just feel like for me, and this is my 2 cents for him, he can do no wrong. The man, he can be in Willy's Wonderland, which is terrible, and yet I love him in that movie.
Those pinball scenes got you, didn't it?
Yeah, he got me. Those pinball, R.I.P. pinball glass. But no, Nick Cage. Okay, so would we say we're fans of him?
Absolutely,
I would say so.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
that's the right answer.
All right, you guys want to rate?
I would love to.
Let's rate it.
Go.
I'm going to give this a 39 because it's just a fucking movie for kids without any depth.
Chris?
Well said.
Thank you.
I've seen this so many times, and it's usually just in snippets outside of that first time I ever saw it 20 years ago. So my rating, I just mentally, you think it's going to be high, and then I rewatched, and I was at a 59. Okay. I don't know if that's shocking for you guys to go that low for me, but I mean, it's outrageously enjoyable. This is very rewatchable, but man, it's a rough one when you read.
I'm not shocked. Yeah. That seems that I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
71.
Nice. Okay. I love it.
All right. Well, we are playing our parts tonight, guys. We are playing our roles. We're reading the script.
Yes, we are. And you are listening to Critical Mess, and we are talking about National Treasure, and we are drinking Old Elk. Old Elk straight. Are we drinking the straight wheat tonight?
Straight wheat.
The straight wheat always hits right, always hits the right notes.
Fresh bottle, just opened.
Always dances on the palate.
Man.
It just... the word. What's the word we use?
Ambrosial.
And
it's the first sip and the last sip are equally mesmerizing.
Yeah, there's literally no one has ever had any type of negative experience drinking Old Elk.
No.
Like you drink it and it's like, holy shit, the world is everything is right.
I had a negative experience the other day. The fucking bottle was empty.
Oh, you're right though. You're right. Good call. That is the negative experience you can have with Old Elk. Truly, truly one of the best whiskeys on the market. Anyway, critics and audiences don't agree on National Treasure. We don't agree on National Treasure. So
yeah, what's our spread? 39. What'd you say? 71? Mm-hmm. Nick. So 59. 49, 59. 60. Math live on the air. 32 point disparity between us and the critics and audiences is a 30 point. So hey, we've got a pressure cooker here.
We do. Yeah, this is we are tracking. So let's talk a little bit about it. Why do critics and audiences not agree on this film?
Well, I think some of the things the critics said, I'm just, like I usually do, I'll read each critic review or snippet, and they're all going to speak to a different aspect of this film, and I want to get your take on it. So it can be a one word, it can be a diatribe, whatever. It can be a facial expression, which I'll just then explain into the microphone for our listeners. Whatever you want to give me it. But the consensus is that National Treasure is no treasure. But it's a fun ride for those who can forgive its highly improbable plot. Matthew Rosa, Salon.com. It is definitely guilty pleasure. Let me start over and use correct grammar. It is a definitely guilty pleasure. And 90% of the reason why can be summed up in two words. Nicolas Cage. Guys, is Nick Cage the best part of this movie?
I'd have to say yes. But I also, weirdly, I think this is the most mediocre he is when it comes to, not mediocre, but the most subdued that you would see like Nick Cage, weirdly. But I still find him the best part of the film.
I agree on both counts.
I don't think he's the best part of this movie. I disagree.
Okay.
Is it Riley Poole?
No. It's not. I don't think it's a person. I think it's the subject matter and sort of the concept and the idea.
That's what I assumed when he said it wasn't him. Okay. And that's why I asked the question, because I can see both. You know what I mean? For me, it was Nick Cage, but yeah, I can see that. Stella Papa Michael, BBC.com. This movie couldn't be more stale if it had been dug up by archaeologists.
Waka waka.
Has this movie been done before? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Archaeologists. Indiana Jones.
I mean, yeah. I mean, are we not allowed to make movies that involve old artifacts anymore?
That's not what we're saying. Has this movie been done before? Yes, no, or abstain.
I don't think so.
No.
It has.
What other movie is there?
I can't wait for
hidden
Brian's
code
corner.
on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
It's just a different object with a hidden code, buddy.
Well,
you'll see.
No, I'm not buying
You
it.
can bucket every film into 5 ways if you want to go that general with it, but that's kind of hard.
Can't wait for my TED Talk later. Ed Park, Village Voice. National Treasure gets more entertaining as the preposterousness rises. Guys, are we in so bad it's good territory? Obviously not Nick.
No. That can. I do think there's a little bit of that going on. I think what's his name, Riley, is part of that. You know, like it was rough. His performance and his lines were rough, but I kind of ironically enjoyed them sometimes, even though they were very bad. So I think it was a mixture for me.
Gris, preposterousness. Preposterousness. Spell that. Don't spell it. What do you think about that? Yes, and did it take away from the movie or add to it?
It obviously it did, because I would have recalled that this movie would have been in the 70s or 80s for me before rating it finally and rewatching it, and with a more like mindful eye. And I think it's outrageously preposterous. I mean, it's so stupid. Like the things that they're doing, how they get to these conclusions, they all line up to each other. It's just hard for me.
Did that take away from the movie for you?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like I started this movie at like a 70 or 80 and continuously dropped it down as I watched it a few times this week.
Okay. So. For me, it was definitely preposterous, but it did not take away from it. I just watched Inner Space today. One of the most preposterous movies ever. Great movie. So,
all right, so that's
just because it's preposterous doesn't mean that's a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. That's what's hard is like this was an outrageously enjoyable movie, and I could rewatch it over and over and over again.
Maybe Joe Dante is the king of preposterousness. Maybe we put him. I don't know. Christopher Kelly, DFW.com. Wait, isn't that a shoe warehouse? It's DSW. The best cinematic comfort food you could ask for. So my thought there was, I agree in the same way that comfort food is not good for you.
But it is good for you.
But it's not. If you ate comfort food every day, you'd die.
It's good for your soul.
Sure, and that's why I agree with it in the same way as that. Yeah. Not a good movie, but a fun movie. Just like comfort food's not good for you, but it's fun. James Berardinelli, Real Views. This infantile excuse for an adventure yarn plays more like a triple cross between The Da Vinci Code, CSI, and The Amazing Race than Raiders of the Lost Ark. I agree that it felt more like the former than the latter. Thoughts on those comparisons? A lot of comparisons there.
I just don't like people who use the word yarn like that.
Adventure yarn, yeah. Okay. Moving on, Karina Chocana, Los Angeles Times, has all the soul, wit, and originality of a major co-branding campaign. Did this feel like it was manufactured by a studio?
Very much so.
Yeah. Disney, yeah.
Fuck movies that are manufactured by studios. Michael O'Sullivan, Washington Post. One of the more implausible movies in recent memory. Just wanted to bring that up. Just put it there. Okay?
Implausible.
No comments needed.
So I have a few like.
There's some dumb things that happen in this movie that we'll talk about later.
I did read reviews for this one for the first time in a while.
That guy clearly didn't see Armageddon.
And every other review was implausible.
Armageddon Armageddon's the poster child for implausibility.
What?
Roger Ebert, the penultimate one here. National Treasure is so silly that the Monty Python version could use the same screenplay line for line. Eek, no comment. And then finally, Bill Moeller, Arizona Republic. Almost every scene in this generic action movie is ripped off from somewhere else. Ooh, call back to the point we brought up earlier, and I'm going to say that's the topic of this evening's Brian's Corner. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Thanks. Gris, hit us with some critic reviews, buddy.
All right, I will. This is hard. These critic reviews are rough, guys. Wyatt G, a fun movie with a mediocre plot, kind of bad writing, but fun. 3.5 stars. Now, this is the majority of these reviews are 3.5, 4, 5 stars, but they all say it's as stupid as shit, but it's great. That's all these reviews were. I can continue to read these over and over again. But I think that's the hard part is they all have the same. This is highly implausible, yet fun adventure with a side of mystery. It's pure popcorn with a surprising amount of heart. So it felt like the same thing over and over and over and over again. And weirdly, a lot of the reviews came from 2020. So I don't know if people just discovered it at a strange mid-tier age.
Had like a renaissance or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it had a massive, because there was a TV show that came out on Disney Plus right around 2020, 2021. Where they tried to remake this.
Mm-hmm. It's probably because COVID popped off and people were like, I don't have shit to do. Let's watch National Treasure.
So we'll watch National Treasure, this new show, and then I'll go back and watch the movie. And I don't know if there was a weird spike, but it was very difficult reading a lot of these reviews, but people just highly rated it and then said it was mediocre or just popcorn flick. Do you guys agree that it was just a popcorn flick to have it in the background? Or
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
There was no depth to this.
yeah,
To me, I do think this is a popcorn flick. I don't want to get too much into this right now, but this to me, this kind of what this movie is kind of like what movies are all about at the end of the day. It's just a big summer, ridiculous blockbuster, over the top, lots of fun, not much substance, a lot of style, keep it moving, boom, boom, things blow up. There's a place in my heart for movies like that, but I'll say more about that later.
But you can make those movies and they can actually be about something. And I think I think that the good movies like the Die Hards are the ones that start with a kernel of meaning, and then they wrap it in, what are we going to do? Oh, let's do a huge summer awesome fun movie, but it's wrapped around a kernel, and there is no chewy center to this movie.
I think
you
they
bite
tried.
into it, it's a hollow fucking Hershey's egg.
This movie is a Big Mac, right? It's delicious. It's not good for you, but you know it. It's familiar. It's fun, and you want more of it.
If you were rating food,
Die Hard is a Wagyu.
how do you rate Big Mac? How do you rate a Big Mac?
5 stars. 10 stars, 10 I don't know.
I know that's an unfair question, but I'm like in the world of movie reviews, in the world of food reviews, a Big Mac, no one's going to rate a Big Mac high, right?
So you're saying people don't like Big Macs?
No, they love Big Macs, but that's a different question than how do you rate the quality of how something's made. A Big Mac is made of trash ingredients through and through. Like, I'm not saying you can't like it and you can't enjoy it and you don't even go buy it.
Well, that's the hard thing about
you shouldn't be like, I just ate that Big Mac and also it's fucking 10 out of 10 belongs in Michelin.
I know, that's the hard thing
restaurant.
about being objective versus subjective.
No, you should just be objective. That's my point here. We should all be being objective. I mean, maybe we disagree, but I think we do disagree, and we've explored this before. But it's like you can be objective and still say you enjoyed something without saying it's also of high quality. Which is why
I dropped it in score and still outrageously enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
It's hard to quantify. Or
I need a little old elk.
Yeah. Whew.
Coming out. Can I get the? Could you pass?
Oh, this one.
Yes, I didn't expect that analogy
keep
to
it
be
going.
dissected
Keep
so
it going
seriously. Anyway, Big Macs, Old Elk. Where were we?
They don't go together, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
how do you know?
I disagree. I think Old Elk goes with literally everything.
We're going straight to Burger King right after this, or McDonald's right after this.
I personally apologize, Old Elk.
All right. So, Gris, you got any more audience reviews for us?
Not without them sounding repetitive. So this is a tough one to go through, but there were a lot of just a lot of the same thing. It's just hard for me to kind of wrap my head around. It's exactly what Brian was just describing. So it's hard not to get into that argument about this movie specifically. It's very feel good. It's very like if you just turn your brain off kind of thing. And I think Brian has a hard time turning your brain off for a movie just to watch the things pass in front of you.
I can turn my brain off to a movie every day. I just don't turn around and be like, that was 5 stars.
Yeah.
So maybe you're misunderstanding there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not being clear. And another thing I'll say is I don't feel like you need to read 1,000 critic reviews. Like sometimes just reading one says it all. Like, if they're all very similar, I think we kind of got the gist there. Unless you have a real funny one where someone talks about their aunt and their second cousin and they were in the wrong movie and they rated it low because it was the wrong movie.
Oh my God.
Remember that?
Oh my God.
All right. This is Critical Mess. We are talking about National Treasure. We are drinking Old Elk. And we are going to talk now about themes in this movie. I think this movie maybe had some themes. Do you guys have thoughts? I might throw one or two out there, but yeah, you know what? I'll start. I think one of the themes of this movie was fun. I think this movie was fun.
That's a great theme.
And I don't have anything smart to back that up.
Fun with liberty, justice.
Like the characters were having fun in it, or you were having fun watching it?
All of the above. I thought it was fun.
I think maybe one of the characters was having fun. This guy, who's the young kid? Was that Riley?
Riley Poole.
I think maybe Riley was having fun.
Why do I remember his name and no one else's?
Ben Gates. I remember Ben.
I wouldn't remember that, and they said his name a ton.
I think Ben was having fun. Yeah, I think Ben was having a lot of fun. I think you might be right.
Yeah, because he's got that big head and he wants to just show it off because he's so smart.
Well, everyone is, on both sides of this, right? Everyone is pursuing their life's passion, right? These very passionate people about history and treasure hunting, and they're really coming to the sort of the zenith of their careers in this film, right? And I'm having a lot of fun watching it happen. So that's all I'm saying.
Oh, so kind of more like just a fun watch. Also, okay.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
I
kind of
agree.
just being a jackass saying that, but yeah, fun.
I think I'm trying to explore that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think fun could be a theme. I think I picked up like altruism here, like sort of just doing the right thing because it's the right thing. Ben Gates, he sacrifices his freedom to protect this thing that sort of serves the public, the Declaration of Independence.
Even though he took 1% of billions of dollars at the end and was pretty excited about it as he ran off to his house with the girl.
Correct. While that is what he did at the end, before
the whole time he's talking,
he had
yes.
that opportunity, he still was prepared to go to jail to protect a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And while that's stupid, that's a theme, and it's a strong theme.
So I had these words written down. So honor, patriotism, loyalty, and oddly justice. Like I think he had all these in mind when he's like, this all has a meaning to it. It has a greater purpose than just one person owning it. It's for all. Like, so he just kept talking about how it should go back to a museum. And I get the whole Indiana Jones thing. So I fully understand that it's Disney just rehashing for a new generation. The Indiana Jones.
Wait. Go back. Repeat that.
No, I can
So
see.
you say you fully understand how this is Disney rehashing Indiana Jones for a new generation. It's been said.
I fully
It's been
understand
said.
how you see that. I fully understand how you see that.
All right. I thought you were saying
No.
that you see that. Okay.
No, because I think,
I think honoring the past and the importance of history, a big theme in this. Don't forget history.
I did not heavily fact check this movie, but it all sounded very cool and very historic when they blurted out a lot of things. So
That's all I got.
that's it. Brian's done for the night.
For themes. Oh, I'm just getting started.
Oh, Lord help us.
No, I'm just kidding. I got my feistiness out before. I'll dial it back a little bit.
Gris, you got any more thoughts on themes?
That's all I got.
All right, well, let's talk arcs then. I think there may have been an arc or two. Maybe
Absolutely.
one.
Disagree. Did not
one.
detect one arc in
No
this
arc.
movie.
No arc detected.
Everyone is the exact same at the end of the movie as they are at the beginning.
Not sure I totally disagree with that.
Yeah. Riley Poole. Yeah, a lot of these people had arcs and then they
And I literally
dipped back and then they went back to their same
I had that
arc.
sentence written, and my next sentence was, "And that's okay. I don't want there to be arcs in this movie, nor does it need there to be arcs for it to be any better than it is."
Well, what about Dr. Dianne Kruger? She kind of has a change, right?
She's the closest to an arc that can exist. Just in her arc is how much she trusts a person.
She comes around on Ben.
On Ben, yeah,
Right,
yeah. That's a good
completely.
point. That's an arc.
Well,
You're right.
Riley Poole was my favorite arc until I feel like that last scene of him in the car was tacked on. And when they show the house and he's
in the Ferrari.
they're talking about, I feel like that was completely tacked on.
How did he arc?
Well, the whole thing was the whole movie. He's asking, how much is that worth? Is that $1 billion pipe or is it $1 million pipe? Oh, how much? What's the treasure? Like he kept asking about the treasure and what he can get for the treasure or what it's worth. And then by the end, when they're in the actual treasure room, he's the only one crying. You would assume for the treasure, but it was for the stairs. You go, oh, Riley, why are you crying? He goes, oh, there's stairs. Like there's a way out. So I thought that was his arc, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And then they tacked on the little scene, but I don't know if you guys want spoilers for why that scene was at the end, but that was part of reshoots.
Oh,
That character was
interesting.
wearing a wig, Riley Poole, because he shaved his head right after production, and they needed to come back for reshoots, and that was one of them.
Do you guys know like where he's like? Do you recognize him from a big movie?
I think
Hangover.
Isn't he in The Hangover?
Yeah, he's in the Hangover.
He's the guy
movies.
that's on the roof forever
Yep.
at The Hangover.
Yeah, where he's not in the Hangover, but he's in Hangover.
Yeah. He is that guy, right?
I always feel bad for him. They're like, you're going to be cast in a Bradley Cooper, Zach Galifianakis, Ed Helms.
It's going to be a huge
And you're the
summer
main guy.
blockbuster.
You're the main guy.
You are.
Yeah, and the
Here's the catch.
whole movie's about you. Yeah, here's the catch.
Your
You're
name
not
is,
in it.
Your character's name is mentioned multiple times in the film.
You're not in it. You're a wet blanket, and you're not funny. All right. Anyway, okay. Well, so there's a little bit of an arc. Yeah, whatever. It's an action movie. It doesn't need to have arcs.
Okay, this is Critical Mess. We're talking about National Treasure. We are sponsored by Old Elk. Elk is the, what do we say?
Bruce
The
Banner.
Bruce Banner of the deer world. So, obviously, we think pretty fucking cool.
Can I just say if I walked out of your house tonight and I saw an elk standing in front of me,
Oh, you would be terrified.
I would be terrified, but also like I'd think this is how I want to die.
Well, yeah, and also like in awe of its majesty.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, take me.
Yeah, right, yes. Just gore me now.
Get it over
I've
with.
seen what I needed to see on this planet.
You think if you had an old elk bottle in your hand, you could fend off an actual elk?
No, I would just drink a lot of the bottle, and then I'd be like,
And just
yep, all right,
pound
it's
it.
time
I
now.
would
That's
offer
time to
some
go.
to the elk,
Yeah.
who everyone loves old elk. I guarantee he'll just chill out and drink it.
That's true.
So, anyway, old elk. What we're trying to say here, folks, is old elk is magic in a bottle, right? So, if you want to experience that, it's
I feel like at this point in time, it's on the listener to sort of be like, I'm going to call these guys. I'm going to see their bluff.
Yeah, try-
and then
try
they're
and
going to
call
buy.
our
Then they'll
bluff.
buy it and they'll taste it and they'll be like, holy shit! Like they're kind of joking, but like they're 100% right.
yeah. I'll tell you what. You go ahead and call her, but you go ahead and buy it. You go ahead and buy 35 bottles of it.
I double
Okay.
dog dare you.
Buy 70 bottles. Anyway, old elk, we're still waiting on that paycheck. So
Seriously, give us a call.
Ben needs to
we're
get paid.
trying. We're trying. Anything. Okay. Now. We are going to a special place. I don't know what's going on over there tonight. Is it going to be? Is there a soda pop machine tonight, or pinball machines? The lights blasting.
Little
Nick
kid
Cage
things.
and Willie's. Yeah.
fun things.
Is there a neon sign? Anyway, we're going to a special place, and that place is called Brian's Corner.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Brian's Corner. Happy to have you here. And nope, we don't have anything new. It's just the old things we've had for forever.
Is there
Now,
a coin pusher in Brian's Corner?
What's
I think
a coin?
there should
What's
be.
a coin pusher?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where all the coins are about to
Yeah, you
fall
drop
off and
the
they never
quarters
do.
in. That seems like something that should be
No,
there.
that's a ripoff. We only have skill-based
well.
machines in Brian's Corner. Pinball.
Oh no, that's a skill-based game.
The coin one is?
Oh yeah, I used to make like a 6-figure income off of coin pushers.
We're gonna put an order in.
Anyway,
Nick's gonna DoorDash you a bunch of Big Macs to Brian's Corner.
Son of a bitch. As long as there's a cup holder for the suicide. All right, I would like to talk about who did it better, guys. You know, we tease this. National Treasure does a lot of things. It's not the best at any of them. It rips off so many movies, and I don't care if a movie is an homage to another movie or has something in it that points to another movie. But National Treasure is a ripoff from start to finish. And there are 15 movie tropes, and I want to see if you guys, and actually, you know what? I know I'm coming off feisty. Let's just go back 30 seconds. Let's all take a sip of our suicide. Let's redo this here. I just want to talk about these 15 tropes, and I want to think about other movies for the next 10 minutes, 3 minutes. And I want to see if you guys can tell me another movie that did it better first. And it's not to disparage this movie. Cumulatively it will. But each one, I'm just curious.
Equal to their
Right.
parts.
And again, none of these is damning for the movie, but yeah, some of the parts. All right, so the first one, there's a team in a van running surveillance for field operatives.
National Treasure.
You think it did it first and best?
Yep.
Have you ever seen a movie?
Nope. First one.
All right,
I mean,
so
this was actually, I was going to bring this up in Slow Burn, but that whole kind of idea, which is a very common one. But obviously the movie I think of is
Enemy of the State.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I had written down. That's a good one. Also, Mission Impossible, honorable mention there. Team completes a covert mission during a fancy gala.
I mean, I also Mission Impossible, right?
Yeah.
Mission Impossible.
I mean, and Bond.
True,
I mean, there's that
True
happens a couple
Lies.
of
I'm going to go
movies.
True Lies.
I'm going to go True Lies.
Ding, ding,
Oh,
ding.
True Lies.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
Gris.
great
True Lies,
answer,
the
yeah.
best opening
That might
of a
be the
movie.
best, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe just the best movie. Sorry.
It might be the best movie. Underground treasure room is lit by a mechanical chain reaction.
I don't know how to
yeah. Aladdin?
The Mummy. Aladdin, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Remember
I think of this movie. Like I vividly remember that scene where he lights the torch and then it glows, glows the
You don't
whole
remember
room.
Mummy where there's like the mirror and they point it and
Totally,
it goes and
yeah.
reflects every
I
mirror
remember-
and there's an underground
yeah,
treasure room that looks exactly like this and it's
kinda.
the same kind of way it's lit up. In Aladdin, good call.
Yeah, Aladdin. That's a great call.
Sean Bean betrays the protagonist.
Yeah, is that a trick question?
I mean,
he's in Game of Thrones, obviously.
yeah. What's the sterling example of Sean Bean? Sean Bean, he's Boromir from Lord of the Rings. He's,
006.
Right, yeah, of course.
there you go.
006
That's not
himself.
he's the antagonist in that movie.
No, he betrays the protagonist.
He betrays the protagonist, yeah. He starts out.
Sorry, what was the question?
Nick, I don't know if you know what a protagonist is, but
yes, I do. Ask me the question again.
He is our writer.
Sean Bean betrays the protagonist.
Oh, I didn't hear the word betrays in your.
Oh, did you think I
initial
said
question.
portrays the protagonist?
I thought you said portrays.
Shit, my bad.
Yes.
Sean Bean betrays the protagonist.
There you go.
Goldeneye.
Obviously.
Closed circuit camera feed is hijacked. That's kind of a.
Now,
like that's everything.
I have not
That's
watched
a
a lot of
weakest one on the
spy.
list.
I've not watched a lot of spy movies from the '60s, but I have seen that before from that era.
I think Speed.
Yeah.
So
I was
it's
gonna
hard
say
for me not to know if that like decades before
There's
these
probably a
movies
lot.
came out. You know what I mean?
There's
So
many movies. I was going to say Snatch. I don't even know
There's
if
so
that
many.
would have been right around the same
Oceans, yeah. There's all. I don't know if Oceans.
How
was-
about big event used as distraction to break into a vault?
Oceans? I don't know.
Oceans
Yeah.
11. Oceans
Yeah, I'm
11.
like 3 for
Gris,
3
you
on
are,
this.
You are.
The
you,
I'm on fire tonight.
Yep. How about multiple people attempt to steal the same item?
Oh, it seems like that happens all
Ocean's
the time.
12.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Oceans 12, yeah.
And that's not even. That wasn't even on my list. The Italian Job.
Yeah.
Entrapment.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entrapment.
Been done. How about a MacGuffin bait and switch? So obviously here's the declaration, right? So you've got this MacGuffin. It's like the guy thinks he has it, he doesn't. Happens back and forth. I know it's common, but just give me another example of a movie that you do. You remember any? Can you think of any movies? No pressure if you can't. I've got one.
I'm not very good at this
3,
game.
2, 1. Mission Impossible, the knock list when he throws it in the trash and Jean Reno.
Oh, good
whoever
fake out. Yeah,
thinks
that's
he's
great.
got it. Yeah. And then you guys, all right. Then the next every single one is from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Okay, I mean that's why I started off with jokingly saying this is Benjamin Gates' The Last Crusade. There are so many elements of that movie that exist here, and I think that all those ones up till now, those are kind of jokes. Like, yeah, a lot of movies have these.
Yeah,
some of them are a little oddly specific, and for this movie to have all of those,
yeah, I have to
starting to get a
strongly
little
agree.
hacky.
I mean, having Disney just completely pull their exact same film and rehash it again for a new, I'm guessing it's a formulaic Disney classic where they just thought, we need a new age Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford doesn't want to come back. Let's find somebody that can recreate this world for today.
And I hate that premise for making a movie.
You know that was in the pitch meeting too.
Oh, I know. How about 2 equally important items needed to complete a quest? The declaration and the spectacles here. You have to have both, right? So in Last Crusade, you have to have the Grail and you have to have the map. How about man follows ancient clues and treasure maps to find a mythical treasure? Last Crusade, that's exactly the premise of that movie. How about a treasure hunter continues his father's quest and he brings him along for the ride? Last Crusade. How about tombs beneath really old church defiled in search for ancient treasure? We're getting really oddly specific here. Last Crusade. How about protagonist insists a rare item belongs in a museum? Last Crusade. How about an attractive female blonde German sidekick? Fucking Last Crusade. Oh, and how about attractive female blonde German sidekick hangs by one hand from hero above chasm during the film's climactic scene? Last fucking Crusade. This movie is a fucking ripoff. Excuse my French. Thank you for joining me in this dark, dark corner. Brian's Corner.
All right. Brian, we're going to get a lukewarm opinion out of you on something tonight. Something.
Hey,
Promise.
man, we get the most listens on our most pretentious and contentious episodes.
It's true.
Preferably both in one.
All right, this is Critical Mass, episode 29, talking about some Nicolas Cage movie. We are sponsored by Old Elk, and now, really, guys, this is the time. This is the time, right? This is where we get to the point of the show that no one else cares about all that preamble bullshit that we just went through. This is what this is what you want to get to. This is the good stuff, right? This is that cream filling, is what we're at right now. And it's a segment that it's got a long history that goes back, 377 days or so. and it is. Man, I feel like, guys, there are a lot of different things we've called it over the year. We've called it Crossfire.
Crossfire. You'll get caught up in it.
I think someone called it Hot Fire once.
Did they?
Hot Pocket. We called it Hot Pocket.
Hot Pocket.
Yeah.
Gosh, I always thought Hot Pockets were disgusting.
I absolutely nasty.
I used to eat them just like
I wanted
every
to
day.
like them.
I was a pizza roll kind of guy, you know?
A Hot Pocket's a large pizza roll.
Yeah, but
correct.
not bite size, which is so much more enjoyable.
The best Hot Pockets are the pepperoni pizza ones. Don't mess around with the ham and cheese and the Swiss whatever. Get the pepperoni pizza or the sauce or the
pepperoni
sausage
pizza
ones.
all day.
Are those like still things? Has the FDA not shut those down yet? Is that
Oh,
still,
hell no.
I don't know. I haven't eaten a Hot Pocket since I was like 17.
No
that's
chance.
still a thing.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, well, this is Hot Pocket, and we are talking about. No, sorry. This is slow. Oh no, it's slow.
Sideburn.
Slow burn. That's what it is. Okay. And we're going to burn it slow tonight. So, all right, what are we going to talk about off the rip here? Guys, I know one thing we should talk about. This movie was rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
I did not know that until yesterday when I watched this for like the third time this week.
We don't do a lot of PG on this fine podcast.
Is this our first one besides Hook?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Hook.
Probably, yeah.
What was the greatest,
Turtles?
The Greatest
Was Turtles
Showman?
PG-13?
Turtles was.
Turtles,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, we don't
Okay,
gravitate.
I guess we've done a few.
We don't gravitate towards PG, do we?
No, we don't. I guess the point being that I was just kind of surprised. Usually a movie, there's a lot of gunplay for a PG movie.
No chance this gets rated PG-13 today, correct? Or PG today.
Yeah, I'm just surprised it was ever rated PG,
Well,
frankly.
if there's one cigarette in it, it's fucking NC-17 these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting shot at. You have people dying, falling to their deaths.
there's some pretty intense violence.
Yeah. Explosions,
PG,
you have action, you have people flying off of cars. And
We're basically saying, like, bring your 6-year-old just as long as mom's there.
Not to go on a tangent, but I feel like people think PG just means you can just watch it if you're a kid. But like it says parental guidance. So
Right.
like you should watch it as a parent and then decide if your kid can handle it, and then if they can, let them see it. I feel like PG is sort
If you
of
have
lost.
kids,
It's lost its meaning.
if you have kids, you don't have time to watch a movie before you watch the movie with your kids. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah, we're expecting them to do the work for us. Rate the movie right. Anyway.
Come on, Disney. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. So, anyways, I bet this movie made an extra $100 million though, right? Because it was
Probably.
PG. So, anyways, nice work, whoever they paid off on the ratings board.
I feel like they tapped into the grandpa taking the grandkid audience here.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
They definitely got him right off the bat with Christopher Plummer in that opening.
Okay. Next topic. I think Gris. I know you and I can definitely agree on this. Brian, I'm not sure. I'm actually curious your opinion on this.
No chance.
So we talked a little bit about, or touched on, the rewatchability of this movie, right? And this movie does feel like as someone who hasn't seen it very many times, kind of an eminently rewatchable movie. Like just a movie you can turn on at any point and just kind of keep it on and not be mad about it. And I like those kind of movies. But I guess the question is, is this movie eminently rewatchable? And what I'd also like to know, what's another great example of this kind of movie? A movie that you can just put on at any time and it's always the right time.
Fuck yes, this movie's rewatchable. And I think one that rivals it is Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
I think those are two movies that I just remember both when I was super young and then through high school and stuff that would be on cable or on, just basic channels, and you would catch it at whatever time and you would continue to watch it from that point, beginning, middle, or end.
Definitely rewatchable, and that is one of the reasons I enjoyed it. And neither of those things have anything to do with how I rated the movie. It's the same way that a bag of Doritos is re-eatable. You eat every chip in the bag, but it's trash. So yeah, and another movie that I would say is rewatchable. I'm just going to stay in the Nick Cage realm since we're watching a Nick Cage movie. Raising Arizona. I could come in at any point in time in that movie and watch it. But yeah, I think I just mentioned Nick Cage. That's one of the main reasons I think it's rewatchable is because of him, but also because it's always driving forward. It's always moving. It's fun. It's you're always you're moving around. In a movie that is worse than this that I just watched last night was Night and Day. I had seen this movie.
Tom Cruise
and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
I'd seen this movie.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yeah, I'd seen this movie at some point.
Wow.
And I was like,
why would you watch that?
I know.
Why would you watch that?
I was like, what was that movie?
Why did I watch that?
I know, right?
What
and I
the
was like,
fuck?
I'm going to check it out. So, I had March Madness on here on the screen, and then I put Night and Day on up here, and I'm watching the movie, and it's the same thing, globe trotting, this is all in America, but still you're moving location, a lot of plot, a lot of
very fast-paced,
funny,
a lot
just
of talking.
bubblegum, popcorn. And Night and Day was like, I actively hated everything about that movie.
I can see that. Yeah.
This I did not actively hate. This I just look at it and I go, yeah, that's fun. There's nothing below the surface. So,
Night and Day.
Night and Day.
Man,
Wow,
I
what a
feel
throw.
like that was like an alternate timeline.
I know.
When I saw that.
I
I
only
saw
re-
that movie in the theater.
I agree, Nick, because
believe that?
I was like, wait,
Wow.
I never watched this.
I remember
movie.
one scene from that whole. I don't remember anything else. It's just them reversing backwards on the motorcycle and shooting.
I remember
all I
that. I
remember.
remembered that exact.
Yeah,
same
that's all I
scene.
remember.
All I
It's
remember
the
is a
last
lot
scene of the movie. That's why you remember.
Oh, is that why? Yeah.
There's just like a lot of yelling on the beach, I feel like. Does that happen a lot?
I already forgot it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway. All right. Slow burning, or no, hot pocketing.
Hot pocketing.
We are pepperoni pizza hot pocketing tonight.
Hot pocketing. When a movie starts with an old person telling a story, is that good? Good sign? Bad sign? It's a sign.
Not if it's a 10-minute long exposition dump, which is what this was.
Yeah. A throwback to a throwback. It was a, what are they? It's where they cut back in time, and then he cut back in time again to tell the story. And then my favorite part was Jon Voight in the wig. He doesn't look any younger, and they just threw a wig on him. I was hoping they just took
That is
Nick
my
Cage.
next literal.
I was hoping
slow
that they
burn
would just
point.
take Nick Cage as an adult and put like a bull wig on him and like a graphic tee and made him act as a child.
No,
that would have been
he looks
better.
Not he could. Look at old Bob De Niro. He's got he just had a little baby and he's 80. So
That's true.
maybe Jon Voight. Maybe that's not
crazy.
pushing it too much. But that just didn't look right at all.
Jon
No.
Voight was young in Deliverance.
Also, why did
That's
they
the
have
only
to
thing
He
he's
looked
ever
like
been
he was
young
the
in.
exact same fucking age as Christopher Plummer. It was
He
like,
did. He did.
What? It's like, that's your dad? You
Well,
should be
to be
brothers.
fair, Christopher Plummer has aged. I hope I age as well as he
I know.
has. But real quick, one more thought about that prologue, guys. It is really, really hard to pull off like a 5 to 10 minute prologue to a movie, let's build the entire world with exposition for these 10 minutes.
80 million of
I
that
don't-
100 million budget went to that opening
I was
scene.
actually
swear
gonna
to God.
say that to start the show.
The cutbacks, the history, the sets, the
Yeah,
physical
when Nick was
sets.
talking about the budget and he said $100 million budget, and we were actually watching the prologue at that moment, I was going to make a joke like 80 million, that was the prologue.
It's insane.
But I will say, like, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring does it right. And it's because it's not someone telling a story to someone else. It's like an artistic, poetic, ethereal voice sort of narrating action. And
it's Christopher Plummer, and you have slow-mo action shots of treasure falling and battles and war and all these things. It's great.
it wasn't terrible, but like I was like, all right, here we go. Everything's going to be, this is for kids.
I feel like, can I just say The Matrix?
What about The Matrix? Whoa. You think there's exposition?
I just know. It's just like this is the farthest we've ever gotten without saying The Matrix. I feel like I just have to say it.
Oh.
I know.
I just wanted to say
for
the
all our
words.
viewers, Brian's eyes just dropped in how much.
It's going bye-bye.
Brian got super disheartened when he saw Nick say that.
Good for me.
No, I was just about to say, like, if we do an episode without saying The Matrix, I feel like it doesn't even count as an official episode.
That's true.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm
Good
shocked.
call out, man.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
hey, listen.
It should not come from Nick, I, or Ben.
I blame the fact that it's a Friday and I'm in a whole different headspace than I normally am.
Well, just
Thank
And
you.
I
Thank
just
you, Nick.
watched Matrix in theaters 2 days ago.
Hey guys, would you fucking shut up about the Matrix already?
Matrix. Yes. Okay.
This scene killed me. Like,
What scene? Tell our listeners.
we're watching them drive around the city of Washington D.C.
In a straight truck, like a box truck.
in a box truck, but all the pots and pans are still on the walls. And so as they're bouncing around, all these pots and pans are
It
just
looks
like
great for the camera.
clinking around and like.
It looks so good on camera.
Also, he's a terrible shot.
Guys, the physical action in this, by the way, this is actually Nick Cage and Dianne Kruger doing these scenes. They are hanging off these buses and trucks and vans. They did all their own stunts.
Wow,
It's
that's
unbelievable.
impressive. Ben, that is the only dumb thing in this movie, though. Just so you know. There's nothing else dumb.
You'd think if they're trying to steal the Declaration of Independence, they wouldn't just have a food truck.
Yeah. It's fair. That's a fair point.
All right, let's get back to Sideburn.
Are these bad guys really
All right,
bad
wait,
shots?
Hot Pocket?
Look at that shit.
Cold Pocket. Here we go. Sean Bean. This is our Sean Bean moment. Underrated actor, I think.
Love Sean Bean.
I would go so far as to say, I would classify Sean Bean as an undercover A-lister. Now, can you guys think of someone else you might classify as an undercover A-lister? Someone that not everyone is going to be like, oh, yeah, like a Tom Cruise or, Meryl Streep or something. But someone who's got that respect and can play the leading man or woman, but it's just undercover A-list. Anyone come to mind?
Ooh. I mean, you're right about Sean Bean being that, for sure.
It's kind of a tough question.
It is a tough question. I'm going to need to give it some thought.
How about Javier Bardem? He might be a little
I don't know. He's
more-
been
a little
nominated
too
for a couple
mainstream.
Oscars. hasn't he?
Actually, Nick, I love that you brought that up because that's another character who's typically a villain, as is Sean Bean, but yet also
can
plays
also do
like
the-
with Dune. He's a good guy. I hate that word, but he's also not. Has he ever led a movie? I don't think so. So I think you just answered your own question with the perfect answer.
Anyway, yeah, love Sean Bean though.
Best Sean Bean role, guys. What's your favorite Sean Bean? I mean,
It's got to be Bond. I mean, Bond is one.
Yeah,
gotta be Goldeneye.
006.
Gotta be Goldeneye.
Yeah, Goldeneye,
Yeah.
for sure. I'll throw an actor in there. Michael
Yeah.
Shannon is one of my
sure, yeah,
favorite,
yeah.
and I feel like he's just right there where he
because
does.
he also plays villains,
Yeah, he plays villains. He's super
Yeah.
dark, but he can do some comedy too.
and
It's
he's a stellar actor.
yeah, I just feel like he's so under the radar for
I feel
a lot
like
of stuff.
you guys have just mentioned three people who, when they're on screen, they command the screen, and I'm drawn to everything they say and do.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Hot pocketing. So, Nick Cage, when he's like, okay, when they're in the ship, right towards the start of the movie, and kind of they've got that new clue with the pipe, right? And Nick Cage is like talking through the riddle.
in
And
the ship.
I have to expect
In
him to do
Charlotte?
like a shout out to our last movie, a maestro move, where he's like, doing some conducting as he just kind of like the mute, he's just like whipping up these thoughts, and it was so stupid
It was bad.
and silly, and I still like. This was the ironic part of the movie that I enjoyed, like that him just like working through that riddle out loud was just so fucking dumb.
I was actually okay with that.
But it was just so silly. I was okay with it too, but I just thought it was just goofy as hell.
Well, I mean, it's a movie. Movies are, people say and do things in movies that they wouldn't do in real life, and no one's going to work out a riddle like he does there. But I'm not docking the movie for that. I thought it was silly. I agree. But it didn't take me out of it because he's like this genius riddle guy. He's a genius riddle solver guy.
Yeah, I guess it was. I don't know.
I'm shocked you haven't mentioned this yet, Brian, but this movie felt like just an ass load of just the story, like him having to explain everything. Do you think that just came off easier because Nick Cage is just that chauvinistic, big-headed character, and that it didn't feel like somebody was just giving you exposition the entire film?
I had a note here that Nick Cage, I have two problems with him in this movie. To speak to your point, he quotes the founding fathers like LL Cool J quotes the Bible in Deep Blue Sea. It's so one-dimensional. So he's just like this encyclopedia of stupid knowledge that no one would ever know. And number two, Gris, you mentioned this early on. He's playing a subdued version of himself,
Big time.
And to me, in this movie, he's playing a less interesting and less eccentric version of his character from The Rock. Very much strikes me as like this nerd from The Rock, but he's way funnier and way more compelling in The Rock. And in this movie, he's just like, just quote. I wish I can't do an example, but he's subdued. He's just not. He's not bringing it.
If you're comparing those two, The Rock is a better movie in every way.
I'm only I agree, but I'm just trying to compare him.
Yes,
'Cause
and
he's in both
agree,
movies.
yeah, I totally agree. That's an interesting comparison, and I agree that The Rock is much better performance. Yeah, more interesting character.
So yeah, Grizz, I feel like again, my problem with the movie is not like the technical craft. It's not the dialogue. It's not the performance. It's not him mansplaining whatever. It's that the movie just doesn't have any kernel, has no heart to
Shockingly,
it.
for a Disney movie, you would think they would put more focus towards that, but maybe this was during that.
Think of what you want to say to the world, and then make this bombastic, fun, historical National Treasure movie around it. And they just didn't do that. And it's like, well, sorry, you're
Disney
just not going to get a good rating.
Disney was too busy putting heart and purpose and character arcs in their animated movies at this time. Their new 3D animated films versus live action.
I don't want to go. Well, you know what? Fuck it. We're slow burning, so let's fucking slow burn it. I want to talk about the 2000s real quick. The 2000s, you guys, the 2000s, I feel like were a decade of the huge franchise.
Yeah.
There were so many franchises that like had their beginnings in the 2000s. You look at Pirates of the Caribbean, like that became a multi-billion-dollar franchise. That started in 2003. You have Fast and the Furious, started in 2001. Harry Potter, 2001. Transformers started in 07. Even the MCU, 08. These are all that was like the decade of like, let's spin up this crazy franchise. And when I think of those movies, especially like Pirates of the Caribbean, the Disney ones, I always put National Treasure in the same space in my head. I always group it in with those movies. And it would have been a stronger franchise, but I think it only had one sequel. You aware of this? One sequel this movie had.
Yeah.
I think there's another one.
There's a third one that they tried to make, but they had all kind of problems with the script, and it couldn't get made. And then it ended up becoming that Disney Plus series. But
sure.
Anyway, yeah, I just think when you talked about Disney, Gris, I feel like Disney was just that, man. They, as much as they're failing in 2024 financially, in the 2000s, good lord, were they succeeding? They were in their their second golden era in the 2000s, or maybe third golden era in the 2000s. And this was one of the movies that was part of that.
Yep.
Interesting. I didn't realize I thought this National Treasure 3 thing was another movie.
No, there's been rumors for 20 years on that, or 15 years. Yeah.
It just seems like the first of many movies, and it's surprising that it's not. Because it sucked.
So back to that scene we were just talking about in the ship, right? Kind of in the beginning. I just thought it was really funny how like Sean Bean and Nicolas Cage are talking, and Nicolas Cage is like, "I'm not going to let you steal the Declaration of Independence," and then Sean Bean just like, "Shoot this piece of shit." It's like, okay, damn, that went from 0 to 100 like really fucking.
He got
fast.
dark quick, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, PG folks, PG movie. Okay. I also just thought it was ridiculous how he's so against. I understand how they reconcile this, but he's like so against stealing it, right? To the point where he's just gonna put his life on the line for it, and then he fucking steals it himself, like because it's the only way to. I get it. But that was stupid.
I went back and I looked. There was a 10-minute gap between him saying, "You can't steal the Declaration of Independence. That's wrong," to him saying, "I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence."
I know. Yeah,
it was incredible. I loved it.
Yeah,
it was a little rough.
Little rough.
I love how. Have you guys ever actually seen the Declaration of Independence?
No. Actually, I was in D.C. as a kid. I'm sure I saw it, but I didn't care. But I'd like to see it
I think
now.
I also saw it in D.C. when I was in, 5th grade? Is that
what are you going to tell us, Nick? I feel like you're going to tell me something really neat right now.
No, it's not that profound at all. I was just going to say, when I went to see the Declaration of Independence, and my, I think what this is generally like, there's a line out the fucking door. Anyway, I just thought it was hilarious how they're just like looking at the Declaration of Independence, like two guys in the room together with the Declaration just during normal business hours, and there's like 3 other people in the room. That seemed really weird and very unrealistic. Anyways, it's a movie. There's a lot of things that were very unrealistic, but let's talk just a little bit about that classic 90s surveillance van. You brought it up earlier, Brian, but man, could that have been? I mean, what's in there, right? We got some cords, right?
I secretly want my own 90s surveillance van just to roll around in.
Who doesn't, right?
Trade that Tesla in real fast.
I want monitors.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of monitors. There's going to be lots of knobs.
Cords,
I want an
cords that go nowhere.
Like an old coffee maker.
Yep, there's definitely like a shitty little coffee machine, like that's like, just got coffee from 10 hours ago.
And a swivel chair mounted in the center.
I just feel like you're in there for so long that you like open the back door, you swing it open, and it's like bright daylight, and you're like, right. You close it again.
Yep. You usually got whoever's in there, like they've got a gun, but they have no fucking clue how to use it.
No, they're a nerd. They're
Right.
they're not a field operative, but they're like
Right.
placed in the field, so they're like, I'm just gonna stay in the van.
Right.
And there was always one person that's just kind of like off to the back. That's like, what are you guys finding?
Yeah, he's just like
Right.
like managing it. Hey, Half Baked was another one with the van where the guys
yeah.
are in the van.
And it's ironic too that there's always a communication issue, is there not? Like in the surveillance van, is there ever a time where the surveillance goes perfectly smoothly, and the signal always comes through? There's always an
They do always lose.
They always lose the signal.
something, either audio or visual.
Anyway,
We've lost the signal.
You've never had slow internet speeds? Come on. That happens. Especially in 2004.
I feel like 90s surveillance van should be like a sitcom or something. Just like three guys that
I think we're coming up with some
they're in
good
a
ideas here.
surveillance van and they just drive around and
Whip me up a hot pocket. I got to keep the surveillance going.
and they just go from random shitty movie to random shitty movie and
I feel like in the
surveillance.
70s they were in a car. They're both in the front seat of this boat, this just big car and the stakeout. And then like in the 80s and 90s, it turned into a van. I think it evolved into a van. There were no vans in the 70s.
Well, you need more space for all those wires.
Only the love vans.
So, the Love Vans?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know what I'm talking about,
That's a good
right?
band name.
People just in like the van's just a room with nothing. There's just people in it laying just sprawled out.
It's just made for love.
Am I painting a picture?
It's just made for love. Love and...
Scooby Doo.
But then we got sophisticated in the fucking 90s.
So, I'm going to defend this movie a little bit on this next one. I thought just overall, this was a super fun, great concept. And as someone who just really likes history and enjoys history and was a history major in college, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I understood a lot of the references. I thought it was, I enjoyed that element of it. And also just that idea that there's like this map to the Knights Templar treasure on the back of the Declaration of Independence. I mean, it's just an audacious idea and people are stealing it. It's fucking ridiculous. And I love that. I think it's awesome how absolutely ridiculous this movie is. So I know that is difficult to get over for some, but I liked how ridiculous that was, and I thought it really added just how crazy and fun. The
clues were too unbelievable, too unbelievable. Can I give you an example?
Well, that's not.
Oh, it had to be
that's
the
fine,
sunset.
but that isn't really commenting on what I said though.
So okay, sorry. So say what you said again, because I'm hearing you say there's clues, back of the Declaration of Independence maps.
No, I'm just talking about the general premise, right? The idea that you have this.
Underground kind of hidden.
That the Declaration of Independence. I mean, I guess you're right.
Okay,
that does have to do with
I took that my own way.
A clue, but yes, but that's not. I actually agree with you. I thought the clues got a little tiresome, but just that general idea that you got to steal the Declaration of Independence to get a hidden message about the Knights Templar treasure. Okay, just in that one sentence, I'm like fucking sold. Like, that sounds cool to me.
Yeah, you're right.
Did it help that all these actors did not make it hokey pokey? I felt like they were all very serious about their roles or how they acted in this film. I know we talk about like.
You mean they were just kind of overselling it?
I don't know if they just went. They all were kind of going overboard with their acting presence, but I don't think they were like being cheeky about it or goofy or comedic. They were very serious.
Like they were earnest.
Yeah, that's a great word for that. Yeah,
I think tonally. We haven't talked tonally yet, but I think tonally this movie's perfect.
Yes, that's what I'm talking. Yeah,
and I chalk that up to not only the craft of the movie and the score, Trevor Rabin's score, but also I think the casting's great and everyone is playing their part.
I think that's what helps you completely lose the disbelief in how realistic some of these things are, like how these things match up with this, or how they were able to get into this room and how they were able to steal it and get out of this or whatever. I think that helps. I think that's what made this movie have the longevity it has.
Well, it helps. It just helps the fun. It helps the enjoyability of it. You know, it doesn't take away for. It's like, all right, we're the wheels are greased.
Yep.
Is that a thing? Do you grease a wheel?
Of course you do. Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
There you go.
Right?
I knew I was on something.
How about the tech in this movie? 20 years old, on the dot. 20-year-old tech. The camcorders and the laptops and the lasers and all that shit.
The laser increases the temperature of the temperature sensor in the thing. That was kind of cool.
Him playing around in the van. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of tech. It was
I
fine.
felt like it was believable. I don't know. I don't think it felt like it was made 50 years ago, or it didn't feel antique,
Here's some tech that didn't hold up. When they went down to the church, You know when they went under the church and they all had flashlights.
Yeah.
They had to go light torches, but they had flashlights. Why do you need to go light a torch when you have a flashlight?
Remember, Brian, this is a rehash remake of Indiana Jones.
Oh, thank you for proving my point. Thank you. You just fell right into
I
that
got
one.
you in there for you.
Yep.
I just think torches are more fun.
I mean, once you go down there, you're like, you might as well be using a torch.
Well, holograms are more fun than screens, but those weren't in this.
Would it have been more enjoyable if it was a lightsaber?
Well, yeah.
I love how the kind of in the robbery scene of the Declaration, right? I love how I want to talk about a couple things. The kind of dichotomy of that scene. We've got these two teams kind of going after the same. Brian, you brought that up in the, it's kind of a thing. It's two groups kind of vying for the same precious object at the same time. And I love how Nicolas Cage is they've got kind of this really smart plan and with the preservation room and kind of how he gets in and this whole ruse, right, that they cook up. And then the Sean Bean team is just motherfucking guns and bombs.
Yeah.
They're just running up. And I love that the dueling theme music, right? Did you guys notice that? How as the Declaration's getting stolen, when it's Sean Bean's team, it's dun 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 dun. It's this rock guitar. And then it's a little more kind of that Ocean's 11 kind of music with the Nicolas Cage team. And then it kind of blends together. And then it's just sort of cool and
perfect
silly.
Combination of Indiana Jones music with Mission Impossible music.
I didn't notice that. That's cool. That's a nice notice.
Yeah, I just thought that was honestly, I mean, well, let me just, I guess, ask this. What did you guys think was the best sequence in the movie? Because for me, that was it.
None. Well, I mean, the whole thing seemed the same to me. I don't think of a sequence in this movie. I guess maybe what stands out the most is when they were when it entered the mummy in the Indiana Jones era at the end, when they're inserting things and twisting gears and they're underground. Yeah. I mean, that stands out to me just visually.
I always think of the Charlotte, the ship, and how they discovered it in the snow, and then they went down into the ship, and then they got in the tussle, and they were trying to. Nick Cage was doing his thing. He's just trying to solve problems weirdly.
Yeah, I feel bad that I can't answer that. Nothing really stands out to me.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely the stealing of the Declaration. I thought that was a really good sequence, entertaining sequence. Another sequence, or just little scene that I thought was really good that we just saw a few minutes ago was, the scene where he's walking out with the Declaration. Nicolas Cage is, and the lady stops him in the gift shop. She's like, "Are you trying to steal that?" Right?
Yeah.
Are you trying to steal that? It's $35.
For this?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Hey, I don't make the prices.
And he doesn't have the money to pay for it.
That's
right?
a good.
That's hilarious.
That's a great scene. That's maybe my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah, that's just what a nice idea. That was just
good.
a great. What a smart idea.
I do have a question about that though. Where did he put the original one?
I assume he just took it out and put it under his coat or something.
Yeah, under his coat, I guess. I don't know.
Which seems a little irreverent.
Yeah,
because they didn't really explain.
Because he's holding the
fit them
fake
both in,
one.
Do you think?
He put them both inside that.
Think he could roll them both up and put them both in the protector?
But
thing?
then he didn't take them out when he went outside.
He definitely knows magic. He probably knows sleight of hand for sure. He seems like the kind of guy.
I did have the same question then. That's why I'm kind of grasping at possibilities here.
So I just out of nowhere, like I said, I hadn't really seen this movie in its entirety before last night. I just Hervey Keitel popping up. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I love that.
What? And I have to be honest with you. What, you missed Hervey Keitel?
Oh no, I'm sorry. The FBI agent or the undercover.
Yeah, I mean, he I don't know. He was
Knight
the main
of the
law
Templar.
enforcement presence.
I forgot his name. Yeah.
I feel like he was a little underutilized.
No, I thought he was super underutilized
because he's Hervey Keitel.
I know he's Hervey Keitel, and it was any asshole could have been that role. There was nothing interesting about that role, really. And I was just like, "What, Hervey Keitel?" Okay, didn't see that coming. A lot of accents in this movie. Did you guys notice that?
Yes.
Well, you have the German girl.
You got Bean.
Who, by the way, do you guys recognize her from another beloved movie, another way superior movie?
Another what movie?
Way superior movie.
Oh, way superior. I thought you said way speary.
Wait,
Like, I don't know that adjective.
Thank you.
Too much old elk. Yeah.
Old Elk is really blending all the words together. She was in Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
believe,
no, that's clearly the one.
Oh, man.
Yeah. She's. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's in my top 100.
She's
No doubt about it.
She's in what?
She's in the scene with the 3 where they hold with the numbers.
Arguably the greatest.
Yeah.
Greatest movie scene of all time.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
it's so good.
I mean, is
I
there a better
agree.
scene than that?
I don't know.
I'm not sure there is.
I mean, maybe several scenes in that movie rival that scene.
Right.
But that movie is just
It's
that's a masterpiece.
Truly.
All right, let's talk about National Treasure again.
All right. Anyways, lots of accents, right? And you also got Sean Bean. You got like the Russian henchman guy from Bad Boys.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few. A lot of accents.
Nick Cage.
Christopher Plummer?
Yeah. Does he have a little
Nick
little
Cage
British
has,
thing
he
going
has
on?
the Nick Cage.
He has the Nick Cage.
Well, he's got the Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I wanted you all to do a
steal
Nick
it.
Cage impression.
Ooh, I don't
You
know.
got to.
I don't know if I can
Brian's
do
is
that.
pretty
Brian's
good.
pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I practiced, but I'm not going to say
not gonna
anything.
beat that.
No, it's not going to happen. Nick,
No.
I even practiced off air and I still won't do it.
Carla was
Yeah,
the
I'll
prom
do
queen.
Sean Connery or maybe Al Pacino. I'm not doing Nick Cage.
Why don't we cut the chit chat? A-hole.
Guys, rate the sexual tension between Cage and Kruger
We
on a 10-point scale.
7, maybe 7.5. Having
Ooh.
just watched in the
Chris thought it was
background,
pretty hot.
the dressing room scene
Uh-huh.
was pretty risque for Disney PG, but
4.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5. Didn't feel great. Man, yeah, that was. It was also. Didn't Nick Cage have some quote about ripping people's entrails out? There was just a lot in this movie that didn't seem very PG. Anyway, we talked about Riley a little bit. He's the sidekick. I felt my note here is that he's just a bit of a turkey. I don't know that I
classic comedic relief. I don't know what else to say about his character.
Nick, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This movie takes place like across several weeks, months, maybe even. Why is Riley by Ben's side literally the entire film, start to finish?
Batman and Robin.
Here's my question: what is his life? What's his situation?
How does he make money?
Where does he get paid? Is he his son?
It's his adopted son.
What
for
the
sure.
fuck is he doing? Always there.
That is strange.
I wonder if Nick Cage is asking the same question.
He's like, who is this guy? Does he want something?
Ben Gates is just like,
Look
wow,
at him.
he's back.
Always there.
I know, he's just his little squire. His little-
Does this work?
We were watching in the background the water bottle scene where he takes an Aquafina bottle and a $100 bill and magnifies it to look closely at the unseen eye. Is that what it's called?
No, the time.
No, the clock tower on the back of 100.
Oh, okay, yeah, the clock tower on the back.
Or is it a 20? 100 or 20?
100.
Yeah, I mean a water bottle can magnify like that, especially the clear. What is that? A smart water or one of those?
Aquafina, yeah.
It was like a smooth bottle one. But the question is the time really there?
Clearly branded for Pepsi. So,
All right, this is Critical Mess.
Little Patreon banter.
We are talking about what are we talking about? We're talking about National Treasure.
Crossburn.
Yeah, we're hot pocketing,
Hot Pocket.
right? And what's up next in the hot pocket? It is a comment that I think is relevant given the events of the last week. And this is brought up in this film. I really hate Benjamin Franklin for proposing daylight savings time. Fuck you. Seriously,
Yeah.
fuck off. When you lose that hour in spring, that is just devastating. Do you guys care, or is this just me?
I hate daylight savings
It's
time.
the
It's
worst.
stupid.
What a dumb fucking idea.
Just think if you had kids, your kids don't know it's an hour
Jeez.
earlier. You have to get up no matter what time it is.
Yeah, I'm with. I think it's one of the dumbest laws that's ever been passed. I just talk about overcomplicating things. Like, oh my gosh. Okay.
I will say, I did see a graphic that said what our sunrise would be if we don't do daylight savings, and in Indiana it would be 5 a.m. when the sun came up, and on the far East Coast it would be closer to 3:30 or 4.
Good, bring it
Yeah,
on. People
great.
people
Let's
live in
do it.
Alaska.
Fucking get these people up and awake. Fuck that time zone.
True Detective Night Country. Everybody's fine up there. Nobody has any problems in that show.
The only reason I enjoy it in the spring is because it means more daylight for us playing Frisbee on Monday Night, Brian. So
But Grizz, the daylight savings time mechanism itself doesn't add more daylight. It just
no, it doesn't.
shifts it around.
Yes, I know it's yes. I know.
But I see what you're saying.
That,
and it
it's
is kind
just
of
a marker
natural,
for me to know. Hey,
it's a natural
it's the
starting point
time.
for Frisbee. Yeah.
Now, I will say, when it's time to fall back, now that's fun. When you just get that extra hour, the bars are open till 4.
Yeah.
It's like that's a fun weekend. But regardless, it's not worth it.
But also, Ben, if the sun started rising at 3:30 a.m., I would just stay asleep. Like, I don't care. Dude, are you guys sleeping in like a glass box with no curtains?
Coming from a person that does photography and needs that early morning light.
Yeah, we need that light. That good.
I don't want to start at 4:30.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, then just move everything back an hour and keep it set.
Yeah, can you imagine us doing the 500 this year and it's
Right.
4 a.m. like we did last time and it's bright sun?
Yeah.
Didn't think about that.
Anyway, that's the only reason.
Didn't think
Other
about
than that, it's dog shit and it sucks.
Okay.
For a while, I didn't even change my clock. I refused to yield.
Yeah, no, I do that to this day.
Yeah.
That guy Ben
I
just
tried
never
that
knows
for
what
about a
time it is.
week. Yeah, I tried for about a week, but my kid noticed and I was like, damn it, I got to change them.
Yeah.
Gosh, when John Voight in this movie is just like, just another clue. Just another clue. It's just like,
Such
oh
a
my
grumpy old
gosh.
man.
Also, a lot
that
of
just
cool
got
map
me.
holders.
Yeah. A lot of map holders.
Oh my God, guys, the fake slow-mo in this film is so bad.
Oh, man.
We're watching as they're running through the market and the streets of DC and they're losing the map and grabbing the map and saving the map and passing it on. And oh my God.
She runs into a biker that clearly doesn't see her.
Grizz, can I talk you into 49?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I can't. I had too much fun with this movie.
Just watch this scene a little bit longer.
Well, here,
You'll come down.
no, this will bring the score.
Is this a TV show?
This will bring the score right back up. So, do you remember when toward the end of the film? So when we get the smooch, right? With
Oh my God, that was the most stupid timing of a kiss I've ever seen in a movie.
okay, yes, no, I don't disagree with any of that. But the thing that was very important about that scene is that ogre that was behind the two of them.
Why doesn't that ever happen to me?
He's like,
That
why
was
does
funny.
That never happened to me.
That was funny. That was funny.
Amazing.
But why did they kiss at that moment?
So that guy could say that line.
No, it's because they hadn't kissed yet. They didn't figure out a way to write a little kiss scene in for them
I
because of the
know.
pacing, and they were
Gosh,
like,
you know what, Brian?
Yeah.
I'm bringing my chemistry rating down.
He's got a chemistry category.
I'm bringing it down to a 4 with
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
It was
Yeah.
it was not good.
It was very forced.
Yeah, maybe even a 3.5. Not great. That whole staircase like breaking sequence at the end when they're going to and then there was the elevator. Why didn't they just go down the elevator in the first place?
Oh, good point. The dumbwaiter. Yeah. Why'd they have to traverse the stairs?
They're like, let's try and go
But
down.
then all of a
this
sudden,
rickety-
there's on the way back up. It's like, oh, just take
and
the
let's
elevator.
sacrifice a couple of human lives on the
Yeah.
way, instead of using this elevator.
I feel like they were like, well, I feel like they screened it, and the test audiences were like, we need more adventure time, and they were like, well, let's make a wooden round room like on the end of Crystal Skull.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? Here's something I liked about this movie, and I bet you guys hated this about this movie, and that's fine. I liked that they found the treasure. I liked that I got to see the treasure, and it was cool, and it was big.
It was a satisfying treasure.
It was very
It was
cool.
satisfying-
It was
satisfying
very cool.
treasure.
I vividly remember that reveal.
And there was a good fake out beforehand, like
Yeah.
a good movie should
Really
do.
nice.
Like it wasn't, once again, it wasn't brilliant, but it did what a movie should do: subvert your expectations a little bit, and then blast you with some good treasure.
Yeah, the feels. Gotcha.
How about Nick Cage just emerging from the shadows while Bean's being arrested at the very end?
Oh, dude, that was epic. What a savage move. I don't know if
Savage.
I'd give myself away that way.
Absolutely
But,
savage.
like, Bean doesn't have like some extra guys on the side that would murder him, knowing that he's the one that put him behind bars.
Yeah, right. He's like this billionaire. Like, yeah. Anyway. And then finally, to bring it home here, do you guys remember the last scene in this movie? I just want to make sure I got this right. So, the implication of the final scene, right? It's Kruger and Cage at the mansion. They're at their house, and they're like, one of them's like, I got the map. And then Kruger's like, where does it lead to? And then they like giggle and hold hands and run inside like they're just about to go do it.
So
right?
PG Disney.
It leads to her treasure.
Yeah, it leads to some treasure for sure.
Get it?
I feel like that was just a weird, once again, you know, we talked about how this movie tonally got it right the whole way. And then just to end on like implying these two are just about to go bang, it was just kind of like, what?
Tonally, it got it right with the way that the characters were behaving, but the chemistry between the two of them.
Maybe
it
that's
did
what
not
it was,
get right.
I guess. It's just like, it was just so, their chemistry was just so off that it was like, it was off-putting to see the movie in that way. It was something I was like, this is very insincere and weird.
That scene was stupid.
That was one thing that I read about was the scenes that they went back and cut back or reshot after Riley Poole character shaved his head after shooting and had to wear a wig for a few scenes. All those scenes were all due to the chemistry. They had to make sure that love interest was there still. So,
Well, I don't think that sex should even be implied in a PG film. So,
yeah,
parental guidance.
Just leave that out.
My opinion.
Just leave it out.
Anywho. Okay, guys, we hot-pocketed the shit out of that. I don't know if you guys have got anything else.
Oh, yeah. I've
Brian,
got a few more things here. Sorry. Guys, can we talk about the clues? The clues were just so unbelievable. And let me give you an example. I brought this up before. We talk about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Let's think about a clue there, okay? Let's think about the X marks the spot in the library in Venice. There's a huge X on the floor, right?
Yeah.
And that's a clue hidden in plain sight.
Yep.
National Treasure tried to play the trope of clue hidden in plain sight. A lot of clues in plain sight in places you wouldn't expect them. Back of the Declaration, right? Well, you've got the clue, you've got the spectacles in the brick, okay? Oh, it's just a random brick that's pointed at from a shadow. To me, the writer was probably thinking something like the big X on the floor in Last Crusade Library.
Yeah.
But they're two totally different things because hiding in plain sight only works if the thing can't be recognized. And spectacles in a hollowed out brick can be recognized and will be recognized over the centuries of people restoring the facade of a building. And as soon as one person finds the slightest little markings there, they're going to take the spectacles are gone forever. Okay, so this thing that is crucial for the treasure to be found, to be put in a place that is so precarious. When you look at the X on the floor in Last Crusade, that thing, nobody knows what that is when they see it. They just think, oh, floor design. So I don't know. I think that that to me is a microcosm of like all of the clues in this movie that are so poorly written.
I think you're talking about the physical marking on the brick. You would think someone would notice that ahead of time.
No, I just think if you put something, so the concept of hiding in plain sight is the prerequisite is that the thing that's hiding cannot be recognized even if somebody lays eyes upon it. If someone lays eyes upon blue and red spectacles, they're going to know that that's something special. I'm not saying you can see it when you look at the brick, but I'm saying that if somebody stumbles across that, they're going to take it. They're not going to be like, oh, let me just put these spectacles back here.
But Masons do have like their own mark that they put on buildings. That's why there's like the cornerstone. They usually put it on the cornerstone. That's their mark, their thing that they put on any building or architecture. They'll put their mark on it. So I feel like that's what that was. But
no,
it was
but
small
but
and
I'm saying like,
minuscule.
what if they're, people are always restoring facades of old brick buildings.
Yeah.
It's something that happens, especially if the building's 300 years old. That facade's going to get redone.
That was the least.
Someone's going to find that.
That was
brick.
the least thing that would the least concerning thing. The thing that got me was like they picked the time based on the water bottle, and he's like, "Oh, it's 3:22," and then he says, "No, it's 2:32 or whatever based on daylight savings time." And then they have to wait. It just happened to be within the hour of them being in that city. And so they go to that location.
So that's
that
bad. So that's bad writing, but that's a separate issue. My issue is you cannot make something hide in plain sight if it's noticeable as a clue. Someone will take it. I don't think I'm being clear on how I'm explaining that. Hide it in plain sight means if someone sees the thing, they don't even know it's a clue. If someone finds spectacles in a hollowed out brick, they're not going to go, well, that's nothing. I'm just going to put that back. They're going to fucking take the spectacles.
Yeah,
Does that make
no
sense?
Chance in hell you're going to find those spectacles inside of a brick on the side of a wall with a little tiny logo on
Over
it.
300 or 400 years of somebody redoing the facade of an old
chance.
brick building, somebody is going to find. Absolutely, they will
No
find
chance.
it. Absolutely, they'll find it.
Guys,
100%.
Nick, Ben,
I agree.
Even if they don't right away, it's the possibility is there.
you think somebody would be like, "Oh, there's
You
definitely
can't
something
hinge
behind
your
that
treasure
wall."
on the possibility of someone not finding your brick.
I'm basing it based off of restoration projects like the one they're doing on the memorial downtown.
Yeah,
Like they are literally combing the entire outside. So they would see something if it was out of place. And this isn't the first time they've done it either. So like think over 300 years how many times they've restored that building specifically.
I don't think it's that extreme, but I don't know.
Guys, it's just not very good writing. It's just not
no,
very
it's terrible writing. We will agree it's terrible writing.
Agreed. 15 more minutes of thinking, you could have come up with something better than that.
But and I agree. And I'm just trying to make that is my example. There's so many that I'm not going to go into, but that's my specific example of how hiding in plain sight was used wrong in this movie. And then a couple of other dumb things. Do you guys remember when they're in the ship at the beginning and Ben has the flare and he like throws it?
If he can catch.
What's the outcome? What's the possible outcome?
They all explode.
There are two outcomes of that action, right? Either he catches it and Ben loses his leverage, which was the flare. Case closed.
Or he dies.
Or he drops it and everyone dies.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that just shows Ben Gates is willing to die for this.
Devil may care attitude.
Yeah.
Ben is.
I just couldn't stand. That was noticeable when I saw it.
They filmed it as if that like he had cooked up some kind of plan.
It was noticeable in that moment when I saw it in 2004 in theaters. Like the faux slow-mo was so bad. It was super blurry, and like you could tell that the people just grabbed it in normal speed and they just slowed it down to make it look.
What about the Centennial Bell? Do you remember how that was like that had to be the right time of day, which is what you were talking about? Do you guys also know that the Earth tilts? So a shadow is not at the same patch every day. It changes every day.
Had to be the same day.
It had to be the exact same right day of the year.
Yeah.
That was stupid. Didn't think about that. Okay, whatever. Invisible ink didn't make any sense, guys. The invisible ink on the
I love the close up of him dipping his two fingers slowly and sensually into that little glass of yellow goo that he made up. I was like, why is this scene here?
I was confused how not only did the lemon juice and heat do it, but also the spectacles did it separately, equally. There were like two different things that revealed the invisible ink. Did you guys catch this?
Yes. Why did Ben Gates not realize that there were multiple lenses and he couldn't play with them?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. No.
Yeah, we talked about Ben weirdly deciding to make his first move on the girl as they're held hostage raiding a tomb. Guys, there's no way that a huge treasure cave under the church could exist undiscovered in fucking Lower Manhattan. That's probably the most excavated parcel of land in the world.
You think the subway system didn't just come across that at one point?
There's a monstrous
huge
cavern down by the sea under this church. I don't know.
I did want to look up the Trinity Cemetery or whatever I think it was Trinity Cemetery. I was like, I'm going to look up where that is. Like, is it on the outskirts of somewhere that I'm not fully aware of?
Have you guys been there, by the way?
No.
I've been to that church. It is in like the most populated
that's what I'm wondering. That's why I almost Googled
world.
it to see where it was.
That's all. I just wanted to kind of make sure I hit some of those like funny little scenes. Fun.
Gris, you got any hot pockets for us?
I got no I want you guys to call out what watch did we see in this film?
I saw one of the goons wearing some sort of cheap Casio.
Classic early 2000s watch choice. Mm-hmm. But there was one that was used in a couple plot points throughout the film, worn by
I see John Voight just had a watch just now.
Worn by yours truly, Ben Gates. What was he? And he even referenced it in the film. Said the name of it and everything.
Like I'm failing you.
And he goes, "Hey, it's an expensive watch. This is an expensive watch. I go diving with it.
A Rolex?
It's a diving watch."
Oh, yeah. When he trades it for the...
Yeah, he trades it for the $100 bill so he can look through the Aquafina bottle.
Why did I not notice that?
They have multiple close-ups of this watch. He uses it to look at the time, the 3:22 or 2:22 time. A nice Rolex Submariner. Weird that he wouldn't have a more historical watch, but I mean, the brand is historical, I guess. But
how nice of a watch? Like, what's one of those running you these days?
In 2003, probably $2,000.
These days?
Today, maybe 10, 8 to 10.
Damn.
So he quadrupled his money on that investment?
Yeah, so I guess the moral of the story is buy a Rolex.
Buy a Rolex. That's all you got.
This is not investment advice.
First Rolex seen in a movie in our reviews.
Oh, really?
First time. I was very excited.
Well, we've done it again. We have finished another episode, number 29 of Critical Miss. And we had some fun. And we thank you so much for listening, because really, without you, there is no us. And, you're awesome. And we hope you keep listening, because we're going to keep doing this. And next episode, we're going to talk about a little film called Roadhouse. The OG Roadhouse. The Patrick Swayze, yes. version. There's a new Roadhouse that just came out that does not fit our criteria. However, the Patrick Swayze version most absolutely does. So, yeah, let's do this, guys. It's going to be a fun one.
I can't wait to talk about Roadhouse.
I'm excited to watch both for the first time.
Oh, man. I'm excited for you to watch both for the first time.
I'm very hyped.
All right. Well, this has been Critical Mass episode number 29. Thank you so much for listening. We love you, and we're out.
See ya.
Better gang.